All sports, all plays. Yeah. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. 365, we making the plays. You talking the game, get you through the days. Great eye in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety, topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. Hitting the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace up the field, so tie the laces. All sports, all plays. Network. All sports, all plays. Network. We on top of our game. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays.
Hey, what's going on tonight?
Woo!
This is J-Mac, back from my hiatus. I'm back. Sorry I couldn't be with you Wednesday night. It's been a rough week at my 9 to 5, let me tell you. This is a crazy week. Thanksgiving, then you got the after Thanksgiving sales and the before Thanksgiving sales and all that other hoopla in between, and then we get the canceled NFL game on Thanksgiving. Like, I don't even know. So we got a lot of stuff going on. But we're all with you tonight. I am joined by the one, the only, the Vic. How you doing tonight?
I am fantastic. It's great to be back with you, buddy. I missed you the past week, man.
Yeah, it's
just not the same.
Crazy. It is not the same. You are correct. And I'm, of course, joined by the man, the myth, the almost legend, Ace.
What up, guys? Hey, I'm glad to have J-Mac back on the show. Of course, it's always fun when the Vic is on the show too, but it's always back to have the trio. The trio is back, and it's going to be
a holy trifecta.
It's going to be a fantastic show for Saturday. Let me tell you what.
All right. Well, before we jump into too much of this stuff, let's tell you who the show is sponsored by tonight. And the first one that we are sponsored by is our longest running sponsor on our network. And we can't thank them enough for everything that she does. I hope you all get on there and get to buy some stuff. But it is Suzanne's Bling, paparazzi accessories, jewelry, 24/7 shopping available, $5 for everything. And there's actually a special offer for ASAP Sports viewers. You buy a necklace, you get a matching pair of earrings, and that is paparazziaccessories.com. 160920 is that code. But you know what?
What?
You can win a shirt, I hear, on this network.
Mm-hmm.
Now, am I right about that, Nick? Like, how does that work?
Rumor has it that if you put enough comments in and you become the viewer of the month, you win a t-shirt. Free. Free is a very, very good price. And they're awesome shirts. I mean, come on. You just type some comments, sports stuff, man. We love it. And be viewer of the month.
Yes. Listen to Vic, be the viewer of the month. Now, if you can't win one, Ace, what do you do? How can you get one?
Simple, right? So as everybody knows, right around the corner is Christmas time. And you might be looking for that perfect gift. Well, let me tell you this. If you are a sports fanatic, if you enjoy watching our network, if you're like, you know what, these guys are really, really good, I want to support their network. Well, all you have to do is let us know. Hit up one of us on the ASAP network, order a shirt. It's $25 plus shipping and handling. And think about it like this. You will get your ASAP shirt ASAP.
All right.
Great use of acronyms. I like it.
Thanks for that. Now, we have changed the landscape of the show a little bit. And for our loyal viewers, that may be a little disheartening. However, expanding and getting the way we are as a network, trying to get better, trying to do things better for you, there will actually be a debut of a college show on Tuesday. I believe it's Jock Talk.
Correct.
Am I correct about that, Ace? Yes.
It's Jock Talk, no books, no grades, just sports.
All right. And so they will have all of your college stuff for you. So we're not going to get into the top 25 and all that tonight. One thing I will say before we jump into the NFL and go through all these picks, we're play a game tonight. We're going to have some fun. Is the sports world just a mess to you right now? I mean, I see Brandon Herrera put it on here, but I don't even know. Like the Broncos don't even have a quarterback tomorrow, I heard.
Yeah. I feel that it's, I don't know, this whole season is like a practice season for everybody. Nothing's really, I mean, I don't know. I love sports. I love football, but sometimes this year, man, it's hard to get into it because it's just, this game was canceled. These people aren't playing.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean,
agreed. And Ace,
football's football, and I love it.
What's up?
Take off on that before we get into the picks. What's your feeling on that? Is it just a mess right now? Is it hard to follow?
Well, it really is because, especially on the college side, that's the one reason why I'm saying it's really, really hard to follow, is because this year on the college side, and I don't want to go a lot into that because we do have a college show now, but the reason why it's so hard to follow on the college side now is because people are like, okay, who's the top 4 in the country? Well, at this point, you don't even really know because you have an Ohio State team that's in the top 4 that hasn't played as many games as some of the other schools. And so now it's like a big thing of, okay, if Ohio State cannot play a few more games, then they're not going to even be able to qualify for the Big Ten championship. So it's all craziness right now to see who is actually the best team. And so Will saying, who's been waked up for QB first? Vaughn Elway Miller or Jerry Manning Judy?
It'd probably be Jerry Judy in that case, just because he's a wide receiver. He touches the ball a little more, probably got a little better grip on the ball, can probably throw it. Most wide receivers at some point in their career played quarterback a little bit, even if it wasn't an option play or something. But we'll get into that here in a little bit, so we're not going to completely answer that question right now.
Top secret.
We're going to go through some game picks, and I think first we need to discuss the Baltimore and Pittsburgh game.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this is a game that was supposed to happen on Thursday. It was the only good game on the slate, other than the fact that we got to see the Cowboys lose 41-16.
That was awesome.
That was so beautiful.
It was going to be the best game of the day. Then it got pushed back to Sunday at 4 o'clock Eastern time, 7 o'clock Eastern time, something like that. And then it got pushed back to Tuesday, but now they have 13 players that are on the COVID list. So is this the first game that we're going to see pushed back to that 18th week opening, as they want to call it? Well, Ace, let's start with you. What do you think?
Well, right now it's set up for Tuesday. That's been the going thing. I don't foresee it getting pushed back to a week 18. I know that they had expanded the season and said they're opening it to a week 18 if they do need it. But I don't think it's going to get pushed back that far. I really think this game's going to be played on Tuesday because they're going to do whatever they can not to push that one game back to week 18. And so we're this close to finishing we're close to finishing the season. It's going really, really fast. And so that's why I'm looking at this going, the NFL is going to do whatever they can not to push this game back to week 18. So I see them playing the game on Tuesday as long as there's no more positive tests between now and Tuesday.
And Vic, what's your thoughts?
Oh, Baltimore. I don't see it getting pushed back. Yeah, I see them doing everything possible to get done on Tuesday because you just want to have, you want to have the whole. That game could decide, a conference possible. It could decide playoff rankings, and they don't want to have just one team playing on week 18. I think hopefully everyone's taking it seriously and bunkering down and being safe as possible and really wanting this game to happen on Tuesday because it's disappointing that it's been postponed twice now. So I agree with Ace on this one.
Yeah. How would you feel right now if you're the Pittsburgh Steelers? Now,
I
you've
do.
already had your bye week taken away, given to you early for another team that couldn't get their COVID stuff under control. Now you're told, oh, you're not playing Thursday, you're playing Sunday because this other team can't get their COVID stuff under control. And then, oh, by the way, now we're moving your game to Tuesday. You'll be on a short week going into the next week. Instead of your 10-day break, you're going to get a 6-day break. How would you guys be feeling right now if you were Pittsburgh? Ace, we'll start with you this time.
Well, honestly, you know, some people on Pittsburgh, like Juju, he came out and said that he was not very happy about the whole situation getting moved because Juju's like, how can we get told just a little bit before game time to let us know, hey, you know what, it got moved to Sunday and then it got moved to Tuesday. So I understand how the Steelers are feeling because this is, like you said, this is only the first time it's happened. This has happened multiple times now. And for some reason, I don't know why, for some reason it keeps happening to Pittsburgh. Like, Pittsburgh is the only undefeated team that's left in the NFL, but they have like this omen that is happening to them, being like, why is all of our games getting changed? Because last time they had to accommodate on somebody for a bye week. Their bye week got moved because of Tennessee.
Yeah. So, Vic, what's your take?
Yeah, I wouldn't be. I'd be PO'd if I was anybody on Pittsburgh. I mean, come on, you know they're doing what they need to do. They're playing right, and you know for the second time, like I said, they're getting the wrong end of the stick there. I mean, I feel that you know if you can't get it together, then maybe you need to forfeit the game. You need to just call it a loss. I mean, it's not fair that Pittsburgh's getting pushed out. I mean, you know, what happens, you know, they're practicing, obviously. So what if somebody gets hurt during practice that wouldn't have been hurt on Thursday?
True.
So they're messing with careers and lives, and I don't think I'd be furious if I was a Pittsburgh person right now. I really would.
Well, we had a comment from Brandon Herrera. Nate, can you throw that back up there for a minute?
Yeah, which I was going to touch on.
Now, I'll start with Vic this time.
Mm-hmm.
This is a good question because do you think that if this wasn't Pittsburgh and Baltimore, say it was a game like Jacksonville and the New York Jets, would you even play this game? Or would you just say, you know what, we're going to cancel this one because there's no playoff implications of it in this one? What do you think?
I think they would have postponed it once, but if it couldn't have been done Sunday, they'd be like, "Oh, you both forfeit. That's it. We're not playing it." But since it's the big market teams that has playoff implications, they can't do that. Yeah. So yeah, I believe that if it was somebody else other than them, yeah, they'd been canceled after the first postponement.
So Ace, is Vic far off on that, or do you think that's pretty right on?
So here's why I'm going to go opposite of what the Vic is saying. Now, the Vic is saying that they might have postponed it the first time but canceled it the second time if it happened. But here's why I'm saying I don't think that's quite accurate. And the only reason I'm saying that is because when we look at the Denver Broncos, they're going to be taking on the New Orleans Saints. Now, we know on the New Orleans Saints side that obviously there's implications for the New Orleans Saints because obviously they're trying to stay in the number 1 seed right now. But when you look at Denver, yeah, I mean, they have an outside shot at getting in the playoffs, but realistically it's not going to happen. And Denver's whole, like, all their quarterbacks are completely out. They don't have a quarterback right now. So if there would have been any time for the league to be like, you know what, Denver, this game doesn't mean much to you, especially on the AFC side, they might have been like, you know what, this is a forfeit game. But they didn't do that. They're allowing them to play by being like, you know what, the game's still going. You can use a receiver. You can use a running back, whatever you want to do. That's why I'm looking at that situation going, I don't think it really would have mattered.
Okay. I mean, no, that makes a lot of sense. And you're definitely entitled to how you feel about that. And I can't disagree with Will Polson on that. If it's Steelers versus Jets ain't going nowhere. So you probably wouldn't play the game because it's not going to mean much in that. But thanks, Brandon. Let's not get into that right now. We're talking NFL football.
Way to do it, Brandon. Way to go.
The first game that I have as far as us making a pick is the Raiders and the Falcons. Now, I'm just looking over some numbers here real quick. And Josh Jacobs has been a very solid runner this year in Las Vegas. He currently sitting at 755 yards and 9 touchdowns for the season. And then you have Todd Gurley on the other side. That's at 610 yards, but he also has 9 touchdowns.
He's out though.
He's out.
Yes, he is out. I'm just going with what their top guy is on each. And then you have Darren Waller, who's the top receiver for Las Vegas. He's got 60 receptions, but it's only for 519 yards. So it's less than 9 yards a catch. And I'll get to my point in a second with that. And Calvin Ridley has 48 catches for 747 yards and 6 touchdowns. Now, my only question on the Darren Waller thing is that Derek Carr has thrown 314 passes and only 3 interceptions. But do you think that is a little bit – that you can't read into those numbers too much because of the fact that he doesn't throw the ball downfield a lot, as far as your top receiver is only averaging 8.7 yards a catch? Ace, lead us off on that one.
All right, so when it comes to Derek Carr, and it's kind of interesting too, because when you look at a lot of Raiders fans will be like, I'm not a fan of Derek Carr. They need to trade him, blah, 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 because they feel like he got a little bit of gun shy once he broke his leg. Everyone's like, he's gun shy now. He doesn't throw it deep, which he doesn't really throw it deep. But when you look at this Raiders team, what is one thing that they're lacking? Well, they do have a Ruggs who can run deep. Other than Ruggs who can run a deep route and take anybody deep, other than that, they don't really have that deep threat. So that's one thing that they're missing. I think that's why they don't really go deep a lot. But Josh Jacobs also helps open up that passing game. But when we're looking at this game too, you can break down the numbers a little bit more, like you were saying. Currently, on the offensive side of the ball, the Las Vegas Raiders rank 14th overall. They rank 7th in rushing, and they rank 20th in the pass. So, the rushing side, that's good. The 20th in the pass, bottom of the league. So it's not stellar by any means, but like I said, we can blame it on maybe lack of weapons or whatever else. But they have both times they have played the Chiefs. They played them really, really well, and they have managed to put up points. Now, when we're talking about this game in general, now let's look at the Falcons side of the ball too. So on the Falcons side, on the offensive side, the Falcons rank. What do you think they rank in the league passing wise? They're ranked number 2 in the league in passing. And that's because look at everybody they have. They have a Julio Jones, which is questionable for tomorrow. He's probably not going to play. They're going to be without Gurley. So that could be a huge factor on the Falcons side. Let's see. Raiders have a cupcake schedule. I'll take that bet. Okay. So there's Will. He's looking at their schedule wise. Okay. And then now we can break down both defensive side of the ball. So when you look at the Raiders side, they're ranked 23rd overall on the defensive side of the ball. They're 12th in rush, 28th in pass. 28th in pass. So this might be one of those games that the Falcons might be able to sneak another win in past the Raiders. So if I had to take a winner in this game, I might give the slight edge to the Falcons just based upon how good their passing game is. Their passing game is stellar. I think they can put up numbers against this Raiders defense. And keep in mind, both teams do not get to the quarterback either. Both teams struggle with that. You have the Raiders who have 11 sacks, and you have the Falcons who have 17. So not very good on both sides. So I'll go ahead and I'll take the Falcons in this game.
Okay, Falcons. And to keep with tradition here, Ace, do you want to pick who your projected game ball is going to go to in this game?
My projected game ball in this one will go to Calvin Ridley, because if anybody has to step up, it's going to be Ridley, because I don't think Julio Jones is going to play. So Ridley have 8 catches, 140 yards, and 2 touchdowns.
Okay. And Vic, you got a pick in this game?
Yeah, just going to the Raiders really quick. Darren Waller, I mean, their tight end is their leading wide receiver. They're leading in catches. So, I mean, Derek Carr is not utilizing his. I mean, Henry Ruggs is a weapon. That man can run and catch, and Derek Carr is just not utilizing him for some reason. Yeah, Atlanta's got Gurley out, possibly Julio out. I still think they're coming back for redemption from last week. I see Matty Ice, having a little bit of a really good day. So I'm going I'm going Falcons.
Okay. And I mean, I guess I could probably flip a coin, but I've already picked the Raiders 3 times this year, and that's like 3 times too many for me. So I'm going to go Falcons in this game. Yeah, no reason other than that, really. So that game, we got our picks there. Next, we have the Los Angeles Chargers against the Buffalo Bills. If we look a little deeper into this game, so not only is Justin Herbert having a great season and probably is right at the top for Offensive Rookie of the Year, I've read somewhere that he could possibly end with the greatest rookie season in NFL history. And it's just sheer numbers as far as his completion percentage, his touchdown to interception ratio, his rating. He has a rating of 104.7, which is probably tops for a rookie quarterback of all time. It's got to be close if it's not up there. That hasn't translated into wins yet, so we'll see that happens. But Josh Allen, then you have him on the other side. He's had an up and down year, but overall he's had a pretty good year. His rating's 103.2. The one thing I'll say on offense for the Chargers, they are a mess at running back. They're an absolute mess at running back.
Austin Eckler's back.
Well, if he comes back, I mean, so if he's back, that'll help them out. But
he's back.
Just to tell you how much of a mess they are, a guy named Joshua Kelly was their leading rusher coming into the week. So, and that's only with 311 yards this far into the season. Then you have Devin Singletary on the other side with 401. But Keenan Allen, let's talk about this guy for just a second. Everyone was like, he came out at the beginning of the year and he's like, I'm the best wide receiver in the NFL. And everyone's like, but you got no one to throw you the ball to. Well, Keenan Allen has 81 catches this year. 81 catches. That's more than Stephon Diggs. I believe there's only 2 guys that have more catches than he does this season. And he's done that with a rookie quarterback who only started into the third week of the year. So I'm just saying, Stephon Diggs has 73, by the way, if you're curious how close they are. But Stephon Diggs also has 906 yards. So give us your pick on this game, Vic. But talk a little bit about Keenan Allen and how much of a surprise he is as far as how well he's played with a so-called nothing at quarterback as far as everyone was concerned to start the year.
Right. I mean, I remember a quote that I think it was Kirk Herbstreit said that Justin Herbert is going to cost a GM his job. He's going to cost 5 GMs their job that didn't draft him. That's what the problem's going to be. But yeah, Keenan Allen is just a stud. I mean, he was good with Phillip Rivers, but I mean, him and Justin have this connection. You can just tell there's that connection between them. I mean, even that pass last week, the running one to the left, where it just went like right through the defender's hands right into Keenan Allen's chest. I mean, there's just a connection. Keenan Allen is a baller. He's a big man. I would pick him as my top receiver in the NFL right now. I mean, there's nobody that I would pick above him just based on hands and athletic ability and just sheer desire. I mean, yeah, like you were saying, Justin's numbers haven't translated to wins, but I mean, give that man a defense that stands up for 4 quarters, and I see a big, bright future for the Chargers coming up. So yeah, I'm like, if it isn't obvious, I'm going Chargers all the way in this one. Right. Justin's going to have another big day. Over 300, 3 touchdowns.
Okay. Ace, give us your pick and your projected game ball, please.
All right. So my pick in this one was really, really difficult for me because you guys had pointed out some key points in this one, especially Vic when you talked about the defense of the Chargers, for sure. When you look at the defense of the Chargers, what's one glaring point here on their defense? Well, their defense, they were actually one of the best in the NFL in the first half. Now, in the first half, they've only been allowing 134 yards per game in the first half. But then what happens? The second half comes, and all of a sudden, something happens, and then they go from allowing 134 points per game or yards per game in the first half to over 200 yards in the second half. And when you look at that, look at the Jets. They almost allowed the Jets to come back and tie them last week. That's bad. The Jets were literally a touchdown away and a 2-point conversion away from tying it.
That was tough, yeah.
Yeah, and the Jets had the ball and were actually marching, and then the Chargers defense finally stepped up and made that stop. And I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. They're going to allow the Jets to come back. That's horrible. Yeah. Now, Keenan Allen, yes, he does have 81 receptions this season, which there's nobody that's ahead of that. He's actually tops in the NFL with receptions. The closest person to him is Stephon Diggs, which is playing on the other side on the Buffalo Bills, which to me has actually made Josh Allen such a better quarterback because of Stephon Diggs. We didn't know how this trade was going to pan out, but this has really helped Buffalo a lot. I mean, you can look at Stephon Diggs and Cole Beasley and John Brown. Those have become big factors for Josh Allen. So as much as I wanted to pick the Chargers in this game, I just could not do it. And that's only because I can't trust their defense in the second half. Now, yes, Buffalo has a horrible running game. They do. They're horrible at running the ball. They have no running game pretty much whatsoever. But that's the one reason. But the only reason I have to take the Bills in this game is based purely upon their defense. I can't trust them, and I don't trust them to this point. When you almost let the Jets come back, I mean, come on, no, I gotta take the Bills in this game.
I'll say that you both made very compelling arguments for which team to take as far as a pick. But I'm going to lean a little towards Ace on this one and just say that I don't think you can trust that Chargers defense yet. And that is, by the way, no knock on Justin Herbert at all, because I was even one of the skeptical guys. I'm not going to lie. I watched the guy at Oregon, and it was always the but with Justin Herbert. It was, man, he can throw the ball. He looks great. He can run the ball. He's mobile. He can get rid of the ball. Yeah, but he plays in the Pac-12. Yeah, but can he do it at the NFL level? Yeah, but look at that terrible interception he threw. So there's always been that but with Justin Herbert. But I'll eat the humble pie on that one because he's made a believer out of me for sure that he deserves to be in this league.
He has shown this year that he can lead a team. He has shown.
But I'm gonna go with the Bills plainly on the defensive side of the ball.
Mm-hmm. That's fair. I totally get it. Yeah.
So
our defense scares the crap out of me too. So
next game, what a snooze fest this game is going to be. Hopefully, this isn't a nationally televised game because this is like who gives a crap bowl.
You jinxed us.
It's the Giants and the Bengals, and it's the Bengals without Joe Burrow, so nobody really cares now. Unless you're a Bengals fan, and if you're a Bengals fan, I'm sure you care because you want to see these young players play well, and that makes sense. But on a national scale, there's too many other good games, so we're not going to talk about this one too much because Joe Burrow's out. Not really any point in talking about who's leading there. Joe Mixon's out. Is what it is. But Bengals and Giants. Vic, who you got?
I'm gonna go Giants. I just think they're starting to look like maybe they're getting a little bit together. Not a lot, but a lot more than the Bengals look like they're getting it together. I mean, Daniel Jones I don't think he's the answer, but then they're going to stick with him. So yeah, I'm gonna go Giants in a huge snooze fest. Yeah, I pray it's not nationally televised. I don't think it'll be televised. I don't think they're that mean to us.
Yeah. Ace, pick and potential game ball.
All right, so when it comes to this game, as we know, the starter on the Bengals side is going to actually be Brandon Allen. So that was kind of an interesting choice there. I thought that they were going to go with Finley, but no, they went with Brandon Allen. And so we know that Burrow done for the season, Mixon's out. Giovanni Bernard in this one's going to be pretty much, I mean, come on, he's going to be their only hope. They're going to have to rely on Bernard because I really don't think that Brandon Allen's going to throw the ball well. But then when you look at Daniel Jones too, one glaring statistic this year, I don't care how many people have been high on Daniel Jones, the dude's thrown 8 touchdowns to 9 interceptions. So that's not a great season at all.
Those are Troy Aikman numbers, man.
Right. 8 touchdowns to 9 interceptions. So how is that even glaringly good? That's not even good at all. Now, I know if you're a Giants fan, you'll be like, well, Saquon's not in, but that doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. I don't care if Saquon's not playing. This Daniel Jones has got to play better, as they call him, Danny Dimes. The only thing that I'll say about Daniel Jones is that the last 2 games he has not turned the ball over. So if Daniel Jones has not turned the ball over in this game again, the Giants will win. So I give them a little bit of an advantage because their defense is just slightly better. They're ranked like number 17th in defense overall. And so with that one, I'll slightly give the edge to the Giants, and I'll take the Giants in this game. And my game ball, I forgot to say. So my game ball in this one, I'm going to go with Wayne Gallman.
Okay.
All right.
And I'll say that I agree with both your points on all of those things. Danny Dimes just hasn't been Danny Dimes. There's no doubt about it. Some of that could be Saquon. Some of that could be the fact that Danny Dimes just isn't Danny Dimes. Let's face that fact. But I'll take the Giants in it, maybe in a close game, 17-14, something like that. So we will see what happens. Next game's actually a big one. It could come down to the winner of this game wins the division, and it's the Titans and the Colts. Now, I just want to remind everyone before I go into either side here and ask your opinions, because we're going to start with Ace here in a second. If you remember our NFL pregame show for the network, I said that the Colts were going to win the AFC South, and I got laughed at and said they would finish no higher than 3rd in the division. Well, here we are.
Who laughed at you? You want me to beat them up?
Into week 12, and they're first place in the division. Now, I believe that this game will decide this division. I don't doubt that at all. But I'll start with you, Ace. You got Colts or Titans, and does this game decide the division for the season?
Whew. That's actually a very, very good question. So when you look at the Colts and Titans, one thing is they've already played once. And in the first game, the Colts were able to beat them the first time, and they beat them in Indy, I'm pretty sure, the first time that they played. So with that, and Nate has the Colts pick. So we all know that right now the Colts defense is ranked number 2 overall in the NFL. But the one problem with that right now is that this week Buckner's out, Okariki's out, and Aubrey is also out. So that is huge on the defensive side of the ball, especially with Okereke and Buckner being out. That's going to hurt the Colts a lot. Then you look at the Tennessee side. What do they have? They probably have arguably the best running back in football in Derrick Henry, because right now he is leading the league in rushing yards. He has over 1,000. It's like 1,076 rushing yards at this point. The guy has 6 games over 100 yards rushing. So the problem is in this game with the Colts not having Buckner and Okereke and Aubrey, are they going to be able to stop the running game for Tennessee? And I'm not so sure at this point in time. It's going to be tough. I wanted to take Indy, but on the other side of the ball, Tennessee really needs this win. We saw they were able to come back and beat Baltimore. I will go ahead and I'll take Tennessee in this game. And my player in this game is not going to be Tannehill. It's going to be, of course, that bad man in Derrick Henry.
Okay, thanks for that. I'll say before I go to the Vic that I'm going to pick the Colts. I'm going to stick with my pick. I'm not going to go off of it. I think they're going to win this game and wrap up the division this week. Vic?
I just like the name Okariki. Okariki. Yeah, those defensive guys being out. Just saw that Jonathan Taylor is out on the COVID list too, so they're starting running backs out. But I mean, they beat Green Bay. I know it's rough out there, Ace. I know, but Phillip Rivers is a gunslinger, and if anybody can figure out what to do, I think Phillip Rivers can do it. And aside from just my pure hatred for anything Tennessee Titans, I'm going Colts big time.
All right.
Phillip Rivers does have a little injury at this point. Now he is going to play, but he's kind of hobbled. He did injure his toe in the last game, so
he's not a mobile guy though. So I mean, he's out of the pocket most of the time.
We saw that last week that he's not a mobile guy. But
Um,
and Tennessee does not rush the passer well. So because their defense is not good, I think if they're able to get Pittman going and Pascal and T.Y. Hilton, I think Indy will be fine and they can win this game. Because Tennessee does not have a pass rush. But my pick was only because of Henry.
Well, so we're down to the next game, which is the Browns and the Jaguars.
Oh, God.
What do you say about the 7-3 Browns? I say that
it's voodoo.
Yeah, it's 2020. That's what I say. That's the only thing you can't explain for the Browns being 7-3, because Baker Mayfield has not been good. Like, you look at his numbers. I mean, I'm looking at him right now. The guy,
his QBR is what, 65?
The ball 265 times. I mean, that's not a lot in 11 games. That's not really a lot. He's thrown for less than 2,000 yards this year. He has only thrown 7 interceptions. However, on 265 passes, is that all that great? I don't know that it is. His rating is 89.7, so he really doesn't have a good rating either. It hasn't been on Baker Mayfield, but the running game has been excellent. Let's not forget that. I mean, they probably have the best 1-2 punch in the NFL in Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. That's for sure. Because their top receiver is Rashard Higgins, who has 18 catches. Think about that,
bro.
You know what? We're not even going to go to that comment. So, anyway, but then you go to the Jaguars side, and they started Jake Luton the last couple of games. He got benched because
he sucks.
Well, let's say that he played okay the first couple of games, and last week was just kind of like that. Yep, he doesn't belong in the NFL because everyone caught up to him. So they're actually starting Mike Glennon this week. So, man, I hate to say it, but I think I'm going to go Browns just because it's the Jaguars, and I don't even know that the Browns can mess that one up. But, Ace, we'll start with you. Give us your pick, game ball.
All right, so I'm still here. Okay, so my pick in this one, obviously, when we're looking at the way that both teams are playing, obviously, how could you not go with Cleveland in this game? Only based upon the fact that yes, Cleveland has the best 1-2 punch with running backs in football. When you look at that, they have a Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. Both of these running backs at this point are on pace to both get 1,000 yards on the season. So that's why you were looking at the side of Baker being like, he's not having a good year. No, he's not, and that is because they're relying so much on the running game that look at Jarvis. When Odell Beckham went down, everybody was like, oh, especially in fantasy football, may I say, that everybody was like, oh, I got to go out and I have to make sure that if Landry's on my team, I have to start him because he's the guy now. No, he's not. It's still Nick Chubb and it's Kareem Hunt. This team moves and goes as long as those two go. Baker Mayfield, that's got nothing to do with him. When we look at this, I don't even – do we really even talk about Jacksonville? Because, yeah, I know right now that they're pretty irrelevant at this point in time because they've already had Gardner Minshew at starting quarterback, which – so many people were high and said Minshew mania. Like a lot of them were high on Minshew. Minshew mania, he's the guy. Okay, then Minshew's out, and then Luton was in. He's struggling. Mike Glennon's in now. I mean, come on. So obviously my pick in this one is going to be the Cleveland Browns because Jacksonville will not stop the running game of Cleveland.
No.
And your game ball?
And my game ball in this one, it's going to go to Nick Chubb. Nick Chubb's going to have a field day on these guys.
Okay, thanks for that. And Vic, let's get your take and your pick.
Yeah, I'm going all the way with Ace on this one. Jacksonville is irrelevant. I think they're shooting for a draft pick right now. I don't know what else they could be really thinking that they're going to get out of this whole season. They let their leading rusher go for nothing. And Fournette, not that he's doing any better where he's at, but I mean, he was something for them. And they just, I don't know. Luton is trash. Minshew's trash. Glennon is a dumpster fires in a new city. Baker Mayfield's not anything unless he's being like challenged and put on the spot. So yeah, Chubb and Hunt, they're gonna scorch Jacksonville tomorrow. And just run them up. So, yeah, I'm going Browns big time.
Okay. And thanks for that, Will. I had it in my mind that that's the last duo that had done it was Jonathan Stewart and D'Angelo Williams. And I know there's been a couple others that have done it, but I did believe that was the last one. Jonathan Williams, shout out from the University of Oregon. And I think that they use those guys very well. To their advantage in that. I'll also say, though, that the next game that we're going to talk about, and Ace having a little bit of technical difficulties, he'll join us here in a minute. And if he doesn't get on this game, we'll just talk about it, Vic.
Okay.
Panthers and Vikings, and we'll just quickly give us your pick, and then I'll give my pick, and we'll move on to the next game. Panthers and Vikings.
It's not a huge game for either team. They're both fighting for playoffs, but I mean, this is Teddy Bridgewater's first start in Minnesota since his injury. So there's going to be a lot of hype and focus on him for this game to perform well and do well. But I mean, as much as I hate it, Minnesota is showing some signs of life. Dalvin Cook is just out of control back there. Kirk Cousins is handing the ball off very nicely, which he should get paid millions and millions of dollars to do, just to hand the ball off to Dalvin Cook.
Yeah.
Do we know if Thielen's in this one or is he out? I heard he might be out. Thielen's out.
Yeah.
I'm still going to go Minnesota just because, I mean, it's a big game for Teddy. He might get two in his head being back in that, back in that town and that city and that stadium. So, yeah, I'm going Vikings all the way.
I cannot pick the Minnesota Vikings. I can't do it. So I'm going to go Panthers for the reason that I can't pick the Vikings. But I think it's going to be a close game. I think it might go either way. But I'll take the Panthers in that game. The next morning game would be and Ace is back here with us. We'll go to him on this next one. We got the Cardinals and the Patriots.
Ooh.
So, Ace, quickly give us your pick between the Cardinals and Patriots. Do the Cardinals get themselves back into the NFC West race in this game?
Yes, they're going to. Obviously, the Cardinals have the better team in this one with Kenyon Drake and DeAndre Hopkins. The one sad part is that Larry Fitzgerald is not playing because of COVID. So yeah, that was sad because Larry Fitzgerald is one of my favorite receivers of all time. So I'd like to see him play. But on another note, yes, Arizona will win this game and beat New England. I don't think New England's going to have enough offensive firepower to keep up with Arizona.
And Vic?
Yeah, I agree. New England's I like the phrase, and I'm going to use it quite often. New England's a dumpster fire too. I think it's been I don't know. I'm not sure how many games it's been since Cam Newton's thrown multiple touchdown passes in a game. I'm going Cardinals. They're gonna scorch them.
Well, yeah, because Cam has 4 touchdown passes all season. 4.
Yeah.
I believe he threw 2 of those in week 2, by the way.
Yeah, so come on.
He was a good investment. Good job, New England.
Right. The next game we'll get through quickly as well, just because there's not much to talk about on one side. You got the Dolphins and the Jets in the last morning game. Dolphins looking to keep themselves in the playoff race. Jets are still looking for that first win. Ryan Fitzpatrick getting the start for the Dolphins. It's your boy Ace. He's back. Does he go out there and keep the starting job for the rest of the year with a win tomorrow? Ace, go ahead and lead us off.
Well, even if they win tomorrow, he's not going to be able to keep his starting job, even though I want him to. It's still not going to happen because, as you know, it's the Jets. It's the Jets, Jets. So we know that it won't matter. He won't get to keep his starting job. When you look at the Jets side, tomorrow Darnold is back out there, and this is the first time that Darnold will actually have his 3 receivers and Perriman and Crowder. And then and Mims, Crowder, and Perriman. So his top 3 receivers is going to be the first time he has them together. Is it going to be a difference with that? No. Miami's still going to win this game, so I'll still take Miami.
And Vic?
They're saying Tua has a left thumb injury.
Yeah.
I don't buy it. I'm not buying any of it. I saw him play last week. They benched him because he was not good and he was getting torched and sacked, and they felt Fitz gave them the best chance to win. If you're putting all your money on a number 5 pick on a quarterback and you start him, you pull out a guy that's been winning, and you start your rookie, and then you pull him because he is struggling, and then you say, "Oh, it was a left thumb injury." Nobody's buying it. Nobody believes it. We know what you're doing. But yeah, it's the Jets. So I'm going Fitz Magic's going to take the Jets to town. Dolphins all the way.
Okay. And I got the Dolphins as well. Starting the afternoon games. We got 3 of them to go through here. That's a good point, but it's arguable. It really is arguable because
it's the best they got, man.
Well, not only that, there's a few other teams you could say would compete with that as far as the worst running back wide receiver core in the NFL. So we got the Saints and the Broncos.
Yeah.
So I'll lead off with Vic on this one. You got Saints and Broncos. I'll say myself, I say Saints take this, and it's not even close. The Broncos don't even have a quarterback for tomorrow. So give us your pick, Vic.
Yeah, that's a first. I don't think I've ever seen that happen, where a team doesn't have a quarterback on the roster. And they're probably going to start a wide receiver at quarterback. But yeah, Taysom Hill last week looked good. I mean, he had a couple passes that were iffy, but he had some passes that were pretty good. But they're mostly, they're kind of doing the same thing that the Broncos are going to be doing. A lot of wildcat, a lot of QB power run to the right or the left. Except Taysom Hill can throw the ball as opposed to whoever they're going to bring in for Denver. So yeah, I'm going Saints big time. If they lose to a team without a quarterback, Saints will just pack it up for the year and just go home.
Ace?
Yeah, so going back to what you were saying, Vic, that you don't remember this ever happening. The last time I remember something similar to this happening was actually with the New York Jets when their starting quarterback had gotten hurt and their emergency quarterback could not come in until the third quarter. So what did they have to do? They actually had to go with their punter and Tom Tupa. And Tom Tupa had to come in, and he actually threw 2 touchdowns in that game as a punter. And then the third string finally got to come in the fourth quarter. But with that being said, the only way that Denver would have a chance in this game would be if they were able to run the ball and keep the Saints off the field. But the problem is the Saints don't allow people to run on them. That's the problem. So the Broncos cannot run the ball on them because the Saints don't allow it. So the Saints are going to win this one easily. And my game ball in this one is going to be that bad man and Alvin Kamara.
He's my fantasy guy.
And just real quick on a quick note, by the way, the last time a team ended the game with no quarterbacks on the roster was in 2012 when it was the St. Louis Rams, and they actually had to have Torrey Holt take their last 4 snaps because they had no quarterbacks left. So you're right. We haven't seen this in some time. I don't believe we've ever had a game start with no quarterbacks, but we had the last one ended. It was like 8 years ago. So the second afternoon game is the 49ers and the Rams. Rams are in first place in the NFC West. I think they take this game pretty easily and continue, and they end up winning the West. Do you see that any differently, Ace?
No, I don't. And the main reason on this is we all know that the 49ers are banged up. They still have a lot of injuries on this team. But even though that the Rams are not what you would call like a high powerful scoring offense, what they do have is they have a defense that right now is really, really good. They have a defense that's shutting down a lot of teams. I mean, they're shutting down the Bucks. They shut down Russell Wilson. I mean, they are just feasting on these offenses. So with that being said, the Rams are going to win. I know that the 49ers won last time, but the Rams are going to get their revenge, and the Rams are winning this one.
And Vic?
Yeah, I agree with Ace. The 49ers aren't – they're too beat up to go against a solid defense like the Rams have right now. I mean, they took Tom Brady to town and showed him who his daddy was, and his daddy was the Rams defense. And I mean, the 49ers don't even have a place to play at home right now, so all their games are away games.
Right.
So yeah, I'm going Rams. Aaron Donald's going to have a feast.
All right. And then the 125 slated game, which will be the nationally televised afternoon game, is going to be the Chiefs and the Buccaneers. A potential Super Bowl matchup is what it's being called. But do you think that Mahomes comes out on top over Tom Brady? Or do you think that Brady gets the best of Patrick Mahomes? I guess that's why they play the game, and we're going to find out. But I will say that Tom Brady has thrown 9 interceptions this year. Patrick Mahomes has thrown 2. Their running games are pretty similar. Their top receivers are pretty similar. Who comes out in this game? We'll start with you, Vic.
I'm going Chiefs. I think Tom is past. Tom is struggling to click with his new teammates, and they're not meshing. I mean, he's got Gronk there, and Gronk has been like invisible for like 3 games now. Mahomes has Kelsey, who is just a beast. You know, after the catch. Yeah, I think the Chiefs defense is going to feast on Tom Brady this tomorrow, and it's not even going to be close.
All right, Ace.
All right, yeah. So my opinion in this one is obviously that the Chiefs are going to obviously win, And when you look at the Bucks, that everybody said how good this Bucks team was going to be. Well, the one thing I have to say about this is it is finally time for people to start putting some blame on Tom Brady. I mean, I am honestly getting sick of everybody being like, it's not on Brady, it's the players around him, the team's not playing well around him. I'm like, no, it's time to start putting some blame on Tom Brady. He has not been playing well, and this is he tends to, especially this year when he goes against good teams, he's tend to be struggling. And so I don't know what it is, but it's time, and the Chiefs are going to come out, and I really think that this is going to be like a 20-point game. I don't think it's going to be relatively close. I think the Chiefs are going to win it.
All right. And I got the Chiefs for all those reasons and more that I could go into, but I'm not going to, because why beat a dead horse? It's already been said.
Yeah.
Sunday night game. Packers, Bears. Once again, with this rivalry. Now they're going to play each other twice down the stretch here. And this game, I think pretty much will put – I think Green Bay's going to win, and it pretty much puts Chicago out of the division race at this point once this game is over and they win. I'll say that – I think that Green Bay is going to win because, well, they're starting Mitchell Trubisky again in Chicago, and
sorry, I almost
we
choked there.
love Trubisky as a quarterback because he likes throwing it to our guys.
Yes.
So he'll throw it to our guys a couple times, and we'll win this game pretty easily. Ace.
Yeah, so everybody knows that, me being a diehard Packer fan.
No way.
It's hard. It's hard to pick against them. It really is, and it's hard to pick against Aaron Rodgers. I know that. And so with this, and especially when it's the Chicago Bears, I just can't do it. So I have to go with Green Bay in this one, obviously.
And Vic?
Yeah, I think Aaron's a little ticked off about last week, so he's going to take it out on Chicago's defense tomorrow night, and I'm looking forward to it. I hate the Packers, and I know you guys love them, but I don't like Aaron Rodgers. But he is a bad man, and he is going to take it out on Chicago's defense tomorrow night, and I'm going to love to watch it because I hate the Bears just a little bit more.
All right.
Thank you for that, Vic.
Well, that gets us through all the Sunday games.
Sunday.
Now, we're going to switch a little bit and play a little game.
Mm-hmm.
Overrated, underrated, or, well, I'm not quite sure.
Mm-hmm. Because there's a few people on that list that I have that you might look at that you might be like, okay, well, they've only been here for a couple of years, so I'm not there yet. So that's why I did that. Not quite sure yet.
So I'm going to let Ace take the lead on this one. I've been taking the lead all night. We're going to get this done here, 10 or so minutes. We'll go for a little bit on this. We'll let him do the overrated, underrated, and take it away, Ace.
All right. So this is going to be a very, very fun game. I can't wait to see what your guys' answers are going to be about this. So the first player I'm going to start with, I'm going to actually start on the quarterback side on this one. And with this one, we are going to jump to the Detroit Lions. And I'm going to start with J-Mac on this one. So J-Mac, Matthew Stafford. Is Matthew Stafford overrated or underrated or not quite sure yet?
I can't say not quite sure yet whether he's overrated or underrated. He is 17th all-time on the career passing list. 17th all-time. I'll say it again, 17th all-time. So he's the 17th best quarterback at throwing the ball down the field. Now, take in mind that a couple times in his Detroit career, he's thrown the ball over 700 times, which no other quarterback has ever done, obviously without a running game. I still don't think he's talked about a lot, but it's because he plays for the Lions. So I do think if he played for a better team, he would obviously be talked about a lot more. So I can't say he's criminally underrated, but I think he's a little underrated. I do as a quarterback. I'll give him that. I think he's a little underrated.
I would actually go with you on that, J-Mac. Now the one thing that I will say that to me he's actually way underrated, and even when you heard Rodgers came out and say nobody's giving Stafford credit for anything he's doing, because he plays for Detroit. That's why he's not getting the credit he is. Stafford is way underrated. So Vic, what do you think?
Oh boy, you're gonna make me the bad guy, aren't you? You're gonna make me the bad guy. You're gonna make me the bad guy. All right, I think he's overrated. I really do.
Wow.
He's had weapons to play with, and where's it gotten him? Where are the Detroit Lions right now? Bottom of the conference. I mean, he shows up at times. He shows good and does good, and everybody loves him. And he's underrated. Blah blah blah. But then you step back and look at him. I mean, I don't know. I've never thought he's performed as good as he should have with who he had playing with him.
Wow.
Yeah,
I'm speechless. I'm completely speechless on that.
Okay.
J-Mac looks like he's about to
let's
explode.
just move on because, again, 17th all-time in passing yards, but he's overrated.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Okay. That's your opinion. You're entitled to it, even if you're wrong.
That's right. Okay. So we might get some flack on this one, but I know this one's going to be really, really fun to ask. Overrated, underrated, or not sure yet, and I'm going to start with the Vic on this one. And the Vic, your question is simply this: overrated, underrated, or not quite sure yet. Daniel Jones. What is Daniel?
He's overrated, overhyped, overpaid, over his head. I mean, Danny Dimes, to the opposition. He's throwing dimes to other team. Absolutely. He was a waste of a draft pick. New York just they failed. He's overrated. No. He's no. I don't like him. He's not worth the time.
So, Vic, I want to agree with you on that, but in my honest opinion is he hasn't been here quite long enough yet. And the one thing that I will give him credit for is he hasn't really had the weapons yet. I want to see what he could do with weapons because he doesn't really have any weapons around him. His receivers right now are Sterling Shepard and basically an over-the-hill Golden Tate that hasn't done anything in a very, very long time. His best receiver is probably Darius Slayton at this point. That's pretty much it. Other than that, he hasn't had much, and Barkley's been hurt a lot. So I'm going to say I'm not quite sure on Daniel Jones yet. So, J-Mac, what is your opinion on that?
You forgot Evan Ingram. I know nobody cares. Yeah. I don't really care either. I was just throwing that out there. I'm not quite sure yet. I think if they could shore up the offensive line and get him a couple more guys to throw the ball to, or a solid number 2 running back, he might be all right. He might stop throwing the ball to the other team and making a bunch of turnovers. But, I think we're just not quite sure yet. I go with that.
All right. So our next quarterback that we're jumping on is actually a former MVP of the league. And this one is Lamar Jackson. Is Lamar Jackson overrated, underrated, or just about right? And you know what? I will go ahead and I'll start out with this one. And I'll tell you, in my opinion yet, I'm not quite sure what I'm going to get out of Lamar Jackson yet. I know that the one thing that I have seen in Lamar Jackson, he can run the ball. He's not a pure passer. So I want to see him be able to pass the ball more yet. So at this point, if I would have to say anything based off of what I've seen this year, I'm almost ready to put him in the overrated category. I am almost there to put him in that overrated spot. I really, really want to put him there. But I will give him the rest of the year to see how well he progresses the rest of the year. If not, he's going in the overrated department. So, J-Mac,
Overrated. That's it. That's the word. Overrated.
Mm-hmm.
Money in the bank.
Yeah, I like I said, I'm ready to put him in that category. Just wait till the end of the year. The Vic.
Yeah, he's overrated. I mean, Baltimore had a good year with him, but then they've realized what they had to do to stop him, and he hasn't changed. He hasn't changed his way of playing the game. He thinks that he can just run past people. And with the speed coming out on defenses now and the schemes that they're playing, he had a good season. He had a really good season that resulted in a loss in the playoffs because Tennessee figured him out and stopped him. So yeah, he's overrated, definitely.
All right. Then the last quarterback, before we jump to running backs, our last quarterback on this one is going to be, I'm ready for this one. I kind of wish Christopher Brown was here because we're going to talk about some Carson Wentz. And I want to know how you feel about Carson Wentz. J-Mac, I'm going to start with you on this one. What is Carson Wentz?
I think he's just about perfect, honestly. I don't think he's overrated or underrated. I think that he can be a solid starting quarterback in the NFL. I think he can give you a run. I think he can when he needs to. He hasn't played good this year, but he played great last year. So I think he's always going to be one of those guys. He's going to play good one year and not great the next year. So I think he's just about right.
All right. Vic?
Oh, this is tough. I think he's overrated. I think Carson Wentz is too injury prone. He can't make the big play. He doesn't have the it factor that quarterbacks need to have. He plays great. Yeah, like you said, he played good last year, and then this year he's in a division where he should be raking up the touchdowns and the scoring, and because of who's in his conference and who he's playing against. But he's just, I don't know. I feel that I don't think they would have won the Super Bowl had he played for them in the postseason. I think that was all Nick Foles' magic. I think Carson Wentz is just kind of riding that high he's had from those couple of good years until, overrated. Sorry.
I'm going to actually go with J-Mac on this one, and I'm going to say just about right. He's a good enough quarterback to get it done, but if I would say one thing that he has to stop doing is he has to stop turning the ball over. That is one thing he has got to do, because right now he's turning the ball over at an alarming rate, and that needs to stop. All right. So jumping away from the quarterback side, we're going to jump to the running back side. The first running back we're going to start with the running back for the Seattle Seahawks by the name of Chris Carson.
Like they have a running back? I didn't know they had a running back.
Chris Carson. Well, because when he's there, he's their go-to guy. So with this one, since Vic is a Seattle fan, you know what? I'll go ahead and I'll start with her. Chris Carson, overrated or underrated? Since so far you've pretty much said that everybody was overrated, I want to hear what you have to say on this one.
Oh, when Chris Carson is healthy, he's just about right. He's not a dominant back, but he's not a horrible running back. So he fits there right in the cushion where Seattle needs him, with Russell and the receivers that they got, and so I think Chris Carson's just about right when he's healthy. He's not, like I said, he's not a Dalvin Cook, but he's also not a Joshua Kelly.
All right.
So he's right there on solid ground, right in the middle.
All right, and J-Mac.
Little overrated, I think. I don't think he's as good as everyone makes him out to be.
I'm going to say he's just about right on this one. He's just enough reliable back to where if you need something, he can do it, but he's not going to get you 150 yards a game. He's not going to get you 120 yards a game. He's going to get you maybe one or two touchdowns, maybe one receiving, one rushing. But other than that, he's not going to rack up the yards. So he's, yep. And Will, I agree with you. He's just about right. That's exactly where he's at. Just about right. All right. Our next one and yes, I've been waiting on this one because there's been big talks about this one.
Big talk!
Because this man just got paid. He got paid. And I'm going to go with Zeke Elliott. Zeke Elliott. We're seeing the year that he's having. His rookie year, he came in 98 yards a game. Second year, 96 yards. Last year, 88 yards. This year, 68 yards a game once he got paid. So, J-Mac, take this one away. Is Zeke underrated, overrated, or just about right?
Overrated. I think most running backs are overrated. You don't need a stud running back. Let's just face it. Unless you get a generational running back like a Walter Payton, a Barry Sanders, Adrian Peterson, Emmitt Smith, Frank Gore, a guy that's going to last you a long time. I mean, unless you get one of those guys, quarterbacks are a dime a dozen, and that's why they usually don't get paid very much. So, Elliott's over. Yeah, running backs. Yep.
Well, some running backs you can rely on a lot, like Christian McCaffrey.
I'm not saying you can't rely on them. My only point is that after a couple of years, they're not what they were in their first year. So
I don't know. So it's kind of funny though too, because we know that Skip Bayless is actually a Cowboys fan too, and Skip Bayless in recent weeks says that he's getting sick of Zeke too. He feels like that at this point in time they overpaid for Zeke. So in my opinion, from what I've seen this year, that Zeke this year, because he's only had 100-yard game, and his yards per game every single year has decreased every single year. So for that reason, I'm saying right now that he's overrated just based upon that. All right, the Vic.
Yeah, his yards have gone down, but I mean, can we entirely blame him?
No, you can't.
I mean, they're not running the ball. Period. I mean, I watched them Thursday, and it was like 4th and 1, and they threw a screen pass. I mean, Zeke up the middle, at least going to get you a yard. I mean, so I think it's a lot of play calling, but he's got ball handling issues, hardcore. So yeah, I think he's overrated. He should be doing better than he is. I mean, he came out of Ohio State like the guy, the answer behind Dak. I mean, they drafted them both the same year, but it's overrated big time.
The point is, going on that little screen pass you're talking about with him, the old Zeke never would have got tackled that easily. Like in year 1 or year 2, you would have seen him probably steamroll that DB. And no. Will, he's not averaging 88 points a game or 88 yards a game. He's not doing that this year. He's averaging 68 yards a game. And I know you're saying this year's dip is on the O-line. That's fine. But when you look at Zeke Elliott this year, he's also fumbling the ball at an alarming rate. This year, he's fumbling a lot. And he has not been that typical runner like the past several years, to where when somebody comes up to tackle him, he's able to run them over. He hasn't been doing that. They've been able to tackle him easily this year. I don't know what it is. It's almost like he's not, his whole heart isn't into the game this year.
Right.
Yeah, I get that sense a lot. He's just not. He doesn't want to play. He doesn't care. He's just there to take the ball every couple of snaps and get paid.
That's
his heart's not in it. Doesn't seem like.
All right, Ace, hit us with one more. Come on.
Yep. Okay. So the last running back of the night, I'm going to go with Myles Gaskin. Myles Gaskin from the Miami Dolphins. And I know you're like, huh? Now, the only reason I say that is because they were really high on this guy. That's why they put him as a starter, and they traded Jordan Howard. They even, remember, they also went out and got Matt Breida too. But then they put Myles Gaskin over him. But now keep in mind, the longest run for the Miami Dolphins this year, I think, was a 14-yard run, and it was by Myles Gaskin, which is on IR right now. This is his first year. Keep in mind that too. So with that one, I'll go ahead and I'll start with J-Mac.
I don't know yet. Small sample size. So I think if you're going to start over those two guys, though, you better be a little better. So hopefully when he comes back, he will.
Right. The Vic?
You're asking honest, you know my honest opinion?
Your honest opinion.
Anything that comes out of the University of Washington is overhyped, overrated, and trash. That's all I'm saying. You should have known better. But yeah, there's not enough. There's not enough. I mean, he was good in college, but yeah, it's just not enough data yet. There's nobody knows. But I still say he's trash because he's a Husky.
Not sure yet, but this season alone, criminally underrated. He's amazing in the pass game and running behind a terrible O-line too. He is running behind a terrible O-line, and that's why I kind of feel sorry for Fitz and Tua, because they're going to take a beating behind that O-line. That's for dang sure. And so, but I still have not seen enough yet of Gaskin to where I can say underrated, overrated yet. So at this point, I'll say he's just right until I can see a little bit more.
Yeah, totally.
Okay.
All right, J-Mac, go ahead.
I'll just say, you know what? Yeah, overrated, underrated. I think that's got to be a staple in the show now.
Mm-hmm. That
was fun.
I like it.
Some more fun players in there, though. Let's go with some guys maybe we haven't heard of.
Yeah, I will.
It was good. Myles Gaskin was great. That was a great pick, no doubt. So let's look at our other sponsor real quick so that we can start getting things wrapped up here. So Nate, will you throw me up some Misty Meadows?
Misty Meadows.
There they are. Now they're out here on Highway 101 in Bandon, Oregon. You know what? I actually don't have their phone number sitting in front of me, but I believe it's 541-347-7525 if you want to order something online. They're just one of 7 stores in Oregon that's Oregon-made jams and a bunch of other stuff. You go in the store, it's amazing. They have candles, all kinds of stuff. Vic, have you been out there?
I have not made it out there yet, but the second I heard they had jam,
yeah,
I'm like Joey from Friends with jam.
Yeah.
Give me a jar of jam and set me in front of a TV, and I'm good for the day.
Yeah, some good stuff out there. So we appreciate them being a sponsor on the show. And let's do that. And then one last time, a reminder. Shirts. Got your name in it for tonight. If you were someone who posted tonight that's not part of the network, you got your name into the drawing to be our viewer of the month. You get your free shirt. We'll get it to you ASAP, as Ace likes to point out, along with Chris Brown. You'll get your ASAP shirt ASAP. Now, if you did not comment, Vic, how can you get one?
Well, let me tell you a little story. You can get in touch with any of us on Facebook through the ASAP Facebook page and just say, hey, I'd like to buy a t-shirt because I have someone that loves sports, loves the color black, loves the color fluorescent green, and needs a t-shirt for Christmas. So for $25, shipping and handling, poof, a t-shirt will be delivered to you in your home.
All right.
Better than Amazon. Better than Amazon.
Okay, as promised, we got about 2 minutes left. So start with Vic. We'll give her a minute. Yeah. Vic, it's wide open. Say whatever you want about the entire world of sports. We know you had some things to say, so start us off. And go.
Yesterday was rough. My Duckies, they took a hit, but it's 2020. Anything can happen. It's a ride or die. I'm not a fair weather fan. We sucked. I own it. They own it. We're going to get better. And to be honest, not like college football committee would have let us into the playoffs anyway. I mean, they got a one-loss Clemson 12 spots ahead of us, so I mean, we still got the Pac-12 North we're going to take. We're going to come back next week strong, powerful. And, you know, a lot of teams lose games, but we learn and we remember. So get at me next year. We'll talk about it.
All right. Could be because you play in the Pac-12 also. Ace, you're up.
All right. Well, number one, I'll start out with thanking for all of our viewers for watching. It is always a pleasure to have you guys come on and watch. It's always a pleasure to have everybody comment. We love to see the comments. We can answer them and fire back at you. And it's always great to hear your opinions. Also, number two, going to the college side, I want to give a shout out to Patterson from the Buffalo Buffs. I will tell you this. That was very impressive the last 2 weeks. Well, not his last 2 games, I should say. He's ran for over 700 yards and 11 touchdowns.
Wow.
This week, he ran for 408 yards and 8 touchdowns. And then he had a bye last week, but then the week before they played against Bowling Green, and he ran for another 306 yards and 3 touchdowns. So the dude has been lighting it up in his past several games. So shout out to you. You were just a little bit short of Samarjah P. Ryan's record. So keep going.
All
keep
right.
on rocking.
Thanks for that, Ace. Thanks for that, Vic. Hey, and Vic, I know we have differing opinions. Sometimes we hit each other a little hard with the jabs here on the show, but I enjoy the show with the two of you, and I'm glad all three of us could be back together tonight. Didn't quite
100%.
feel like the last few, but that's not taking anything away from anyone who's been on it. So anyway, we thank all the viewers. We thank everyone on ASAP. We hope everyone had a great Thanksgiving, and we look forward to the rest of the holidays.
Absolutely.
As for now, this is J-Mac, Ace, and Vic signing off. And we hope you all have a great night, and we hope you enjoyed the show. We also thank Nate, our producer.
Thanks, Nate.
Couldn't do without you, buddy. Thanks for that. And Nate, in 3, 2, 1, take us on out of here.
All right. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. 365, we making the plays. You talking the game, get you through the days. Great eye in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety, topics, never the same. All presentation, sports information. In the air, we're taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace up the field, so tie the laces. All sports, all plays. Network. All sports, all plays. Network. We on top of our game. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays.